You ever have a moment where your dream finally shows up and then everything falls apart right before it happens? That's exactly what the LA Bowl was. I got the LA Bowl and I was over the moon. I was choreographing in my head, picking music, designing costumes, building something from absolutely nothing. But I was ready for it. I had no website, no social media, no infrastructure, no real bank account set up. I was building this national show literally from scratch. I don't even remember how people registered. I think it was PayPal or Venmo. I was trying to think about it and I can't remember. I was just figuring it out as I went. I had 5 studios involved and random dancers flying in from different states. This was it. This was the beginning. I was on a comeback. I made a lot of mistakes. The first mistake, I taught everything on Zoom. Everyone was used to Zoom after the pandemic, so I thought it would be fine. I was trying to respect studio owners. I didn't want to interfere with their classes. But Zoom was glitchy. Parents were frustrated. One mom actually said, "I can't dance." I actually laughed at that one because even in my darkest moments, you can't tell me I can't dance or not teach. Those 2 things are non-negotiables. I'm a boss at that and I will never let anyone tell me I can't dance. By the way, side note, this mom that told me that, her daughter was 9 years old and she told me that her daughter was a professional. She had been dancing for 7 years. Remember, she was 9 years old and that her daughter was better than me. Yeah, okay. Dance moms. That's a topic for another day. Make sure to watch on Thursdays now because that's when those episodes drop. Anyway, sorry, squirrel. I didn't realize at the time, but all the issues with Zoom, that frustration builds doubt. 2 groups backed out before we even hit rehearsal. And because I didn't have a studio yet, I was teaching in a park. From the outside, it looked ridiculous. How does she have the LA Bowl, but she doesn't have a studio? They just didn't know it was happening behind the scenes. I was in full fake it till you make it mode. I believe that was leadership. Sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. Here's another one. I used the LA Bowl logo as a placeholder while I was designing ours. I knew I'd switch it, but some parents bought merchandise with that logo on it. When I changed it to our logo, they thought I scammed them. That moment, that was when trust completely cracked. Parents were really, really doubting me. And I just kept going and going like a freaking freight train. Here's something harder to admit. I honestly didn't know my role at that time at all. I had been Coach JR for so long, the one everyone looked up to, the star, the leader in the room. But this was different. Now I was a national owner, and I didn't understand that my authority had shifted. Studio owners were the leaders of their dancers, and I overstepped boundaries. I just didn't know it at the time. Not from ego, from power. There's a difference. I was coming from, I've done this for 22 years, but they saw, who does she think she is? That lesson hit me square in the face. It was really hard for me. Then the rehearsal from absolute hell. The night before the show, I had over 100 dancers. I barely got the money to pay for costumes in time, so I had to pick them up that day. They were supposed to go out that night. Costumes take days, sometimes weeks to sort out. I show up, all costumes still in the boxes, not sorted. That never would have happened before and was definitely not me. With Solid, I rhinestoned everything. I pressed it, I bagged it, bows on top. This time, showed up with everything in boxes and complete chaos. Parents didn't have tickets yet. Tickets had to be emailed individually through the NFL site, which I had never done before. Seating had to be exact, families had to be together, and siblings had to sit together. This was a massive job, one that I'd never, ever done before. Parents thought that I was a fraud. They thought we weren't going to give them their tickets, which I still don't understand, because why would I be there rehearsing if we weren't going to do the show the next day? We were just trying to sort out those tickets without every parent watching us, but they were right over us the entire time. We moved dancers around based on who performed and knew the dance best, which is what choreographers do. These dance moms were screaming at me and Kelsey, telling me their kids get the front and why is their child in the back. I had never in my life had one parent question me on my coaching ability and where I place kids. I've always given everyone a chance, but if you didn't cut it, you didn't cut it, and you were given the place you deserved. My son even remembers this to this day. I literally kicked him out of rehearsal and told him that if he doesn't get that right, he's going to be in the back or not be in the show at all. The thing is I'm a coach. I'm not a therapist. I coach really, really hard, but I also love my dancers really, really hard. 30 moms then demanded that I walk outside. I stepped into a circle with 30 women around me. No kidding. One studio owner on the phone screaming, "Remember when I told you a few episodes back about that lady I ran into at the lobby? And I told you she would come up again later?" Well, this was her studio. Now, side note, I taught this dancer for 4 years when she was a little girl in Utah, and she treated me the absolute worst. And I thought that she would be one of the people that would actually have my back. We had history. I couldn't even speak in this group of women. Normally, I would have held my ground, but I was so vulnerable, I didn't even know it. We didn't get a single formation done that night, not one. The performance was the next day. Then, Kelsey and I were bullied the entire night. Online, text messages, you name it. Kelsey was only 18 years old at the time. She was shredded in comments. She was just coming up big on social media. She was terrified. She didn't show up the next morning, and I do not blame her. I didn't sleep one wink that night. I was on the phone with my mom until 5 a.m. Costumes on the floor, hair unbrushed, no shower. I looked at the clock and said, "Oh my gosh, it's 5 a.m. I have to be there at 6. I had 1 hour drive, and hopefully there was no traffic." I showed up exhausted, emotionally fried. I sat alone on the empty field, and I only had 10 minutes. And I said a prayer. I said, "God, please give me the ability to create 5 formations right now." I was able to write down 5 formations. I was so grateful. I didn't have enough time to do dancers' placements, which would normally have already been done, but at least I had the formations. That alone felt like a damn miracle. Literally, I can't even make this part up. One full studio didn't show up, and I was kind of happy because they were the meanest moms. An hour and a half into rehearsal, they show up. We had already rehearsed. Naturally, I put their dancers in the back row. They missed half of the show. They're lucky I even let them dance. That's just what you do when someone shows up late. They go in the back. Suddenly, 10 adult men walked out onto the field, stood right in front of me, and put their finger in my face, yelling, telling me I'm nothing in front of everyone and a whole lot more. I didn't yell back. I said one sentence over and over. "Please get off my training field." They kept yelling at me. "Please get off my training field." And finally they left. They took all their dancers with them. And I honestly was thankful that they were gone. My son showed up. His football team was in the performance this year. When I saw my son, I don't think I've ever ran as fast as I did to him. I wrapped my arms around him and I gave him a hug. And I was crying. He didn't know why. That hug gave me enough strength to finish. I wasn't married, no husband, no partner, just me and my child. He probably still has no idea what that moment meant to me. And he was with me all day. We were told we'd be center filled. I'd been promoting center filled. Last minute change by the good old NFL. We're standing in the tunnel. They tell us we have to stay under the goalpost. I was like, this is going to be just my nail in a coffin, right? Like, I thought it was going to be the worst performance of my life. I wasn't prepared. No formations were done. I was just sat down and I'm like, this is going to suck. I looked up, flawless. Lines flawless, tricks flawless. Everything was flawless. Under the worst pressure I've ever been in my entire life, and I delivered. That experience, that resilience, that's God. 3 parents said thank you. 2 dancers gave me a hug. When we walked back to that stadium, everybody turned their back on me. Cheered for the dancers and turned their back on me. It gets worse. I know you're not ready for it, but I'm going to tell you next week. I'm a survivor. I'm not going to give up. Hey, I want you to listen to the words and remember that you are a survivor. Let's get to it.